Welcome to our YouTube video series on quitting your job. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal, and in this particular video we're going to discuss the most common misconception associated with quitting one's job. And that misconception is that when you quit your job, your former employer is not obligated or otherwise entitled to pay you anything when you depart. Now, there are certain aspects that they are not required to pay you, and that's typically termination pay in lieu of notice and severance pay, because those are associated with being terminated without cause. However, when you leave your job, one of the things you have to understand is that in many jurisdictions, payroll is not being properly calculated. And when payroll is not being properly calculated in accordance with the laws of the jurisdiction within which you are working, that pay that you've earned is actually being accrued by your employer, and you are legally entitled to pursue it. The mere fact that you have quit your job and taken it upon yourself to depart does not deny you the entitlement legally to your earned money. That money is earned and it remains yours. The question is whether or not you can identify it, and if you identify it, whether or not you are prepared to pursue it. Because the laws of your jurisdiction, especially in Canada, are such that if there is money that has been earned by yourself and has not been correctly paid to yourself, you are entitled to pursue that money. And oftentimes that money is held in trust for you on the basis of statute, because many of the statutes in Canada create deemed statutory trusts that retain that money even for years for you, because you as an employee have earned that money, and the legislation understands that in most circumstances employers have overwhelming power over the employees. And because of that overwhelming power, and to address the imbalance, the law says the employer is accruing that money, and it remains the employee's money. And while they are engaged and employed by that particular employer, yes, they do not challenge it, because it has a potential to cause them to lose their job. But such time as you leave the job, not simply when you get terminated or fired from the job, but also when you voluntarily depart, you quit your job, you can then pursue that money without fear of losing your job, because you've already left the job. So it is at that time that you have to make the determination whether or not you're going to look into this. Because what we see, especially in Canada, especially in provinces outside of Ontario, is that there is a lot of earned money that is not being paid properly to employees. And this applies both to hourly employees, and the hourly employees is more so outside of Ontario, but also to salaried employees, and that includes salaried employees in Ontario, where there is serious issues with respect to how payroll is being calculated. And because of those issues with respect to the calculation of payroll, there are major underpayments that are going on, and it is resulting in far too many employees being underpaid. And when there's underpayments, the lost money has been properly earned and is being retained very often in a trust format by the employer, now the former employer, on the behalf of the employee. So what the employee then needs to do is address this. Probably going to need to get legal counsel to address it, but you need to have it addressed and determine whether or not you are entitled to further earned money that you have legally earned, that the statutes say you've earned, and you're entitled to pursue. Because if there is that money and you don't have the fear of losing your job because you've quit, then it's appropriate to look into it and to pursue it if appropriate. And if you're confident enough with legal counsel and confident enough in yourself, to challenge your former employer with respect to money that you have earned and you are legally entitled to. So that's really what we try to address in this whole video series, because it is a major issue that is far too often overlooked. And you cannot overlook it because it is money that you have earned. You've put in the hours, you've put in the years working for a particular employer. You've earned that money, you just haven't collected upon it. And as such, what you should be looking to do is to see how you can collect that money, because it's legally your money and you're entitled to it. Thank you.